So I've been kind of going through a Kaizo Mario journey again, going through different beginners list recommendations and trying to play through them without save states and trying to actually get better and gain the knowledge knack to get through them more consistently. There's a lot of silent playthroughs of these hacks and edits of streamers playing them, but I didn't find a lot of people actually talking about each level, kind of explaining things and talking about jank, etc. So after being inspired by Mount Pain 27's Dean of Doom, I've decided to go through a bunch of hacks level by level and rate them for difficulty, fun, and my average time to beat after I beat the first time, because rating things is fun. Starting with Quickie World by Valdio. The Super Mario World Central description reads, "Hey kid, wanna go fast? Quickie World is a fast-paced Kaizo with very forgiving difficulty meant for those who don't want to spend hours grinding levels, but still want an exciting challenge. It includes 3 worlds, 15 exits, and custom music. Let's get to it." Level 1, Goomba Jam. The first jump teaches you about the value of fast falling right away and when to press B again, but also combined with the next couple jumps forcing you to re-grab and try to catch up before the falling Goombas force you into a muncher if you don't bounce high enough. The Goomba gate right before the checkpoint is actually very nice, with the bullet bill being easy to kill, since there's no Kaizo block at all in this hack. Or is there? After the checkpoint, the goal to carry a Goomba all the way to the end, spin jumping off a single piranha plant before dropping it down and jumping off it over a set of munchers to the goal. Overall, a decent level 1. The second half is far easier than the first, but I think that was intended. Maybe to feel like you're ending the level on a high / giving the player patience after the short bursts of fast falls and re-grabs from the start. Time to beat for the recording, 1 minute 7 seconds. Difficulty, D+. Fun, B-. Level 2, Run Forest. You'll be directed to hold right and Y immediately because this level is mostly about holding your P speed. The first half has you constantly catching up to bullet bills that were fired at the start of the level. Make sure you hold A and slow poof them out of existence. Then catch up to the last remaining bill to jump off of it and finally hit the checkpoint. In a different hack, this would have been a great Kaizo block opportunity, so count your blessing there isn't one here. The second half of this stage is a minor raise in difficulty, activating a shell and then catching up to it to go backwards, hopefully keeping P speed in the process so you can beat the Koopa / Pokey at blocking your way up to an up pipe. Catching your way up to the shell isn't the hard part. The difficulty comes from maintaining your speed for the final run to the pipe, using all the platforms to your advantage and stay on them as much as you can to gain speed. Try not to turn back, because getting P speed at the final run by itself won't be enough from as far as I can tell. Time to beat for this recording, 8 minutes 30 seconds, mostly in the second half. Difficulty, C+. Fun, B. Level 3, Glitch Cat Lake. The calming water level-like music eases you into the trust fall / control jumps you'll have to make right away. Pro tip, but pressing no direction on the D-pad at all keeps your momentum, especially from slopes. More on that in Quickie World 2. The dolphins after are far more forgiving than they look. My advice being jumping on the next dolphin on the way down, as harrowing as that might feel because of the momentum shift. After the checkpoint, we're riding Torpedo Ted all the way to the goal. Are you good at managing your short / long spin jumps? No? Good. This is a great starter course on getting the timing down, on how often Mario small jumps without worrying about the regrabs. The throw block you'll have to use is very forgiving, and so are the urchins near the end. Time to beat for the recording, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Difficulty, B-. Fun, C-. Level 4, Terminal Velocity. You'll be free falling through the whole level, trusting coin paths along the way. Eventually, you'll come to the first shell jump of the hack before free falling into a 1 tile gap for the checkpoint. I think what took me the most time in this level was the shell throw / jump right after the checkpoint. Getting timing and losing my muscle memory of when to let go of Y midair is still a thing I'm working on. After short jumping across a set of Koopalings, the orb is at the bottom. Time to beat for the recording, 4:17. Difficulty, C-. Fun, C. Level 5, Link Dead Shed. The first half of this ghost house is racing the stage as it falling to the bottom of the screen. Hot take, but I love Eerie's compared to Boo's for the amount of spin jump gameplay they can make. After the checkpoint, you followed Eerie all the way to the goal, using it to hit some non-hidden blocks to staircase to the end. It's a little jank that you have to jump left to the block platform to trigger the Eerie after the checkpoint, but the most trouble I had was getting the initial throw block right after. You can't grab it in a normal jump, so you have to sort of run and jump and grab. Thankfully you don't have to do this in one cycle, so you can try a few times before getting it. Time to beat for the recording, 2 minutes 7 seconds. Difficulty, C. Fun, C+. Level 6, Tower of Power. Do you like P-switch music? Good, because that's all you'll hear this whole level as you race the timer to the next P-switch. At this point, the spin versus normal jumps for speed ideas should be popping off in your head. Remember to let go of the Y or X when falling on a P-switch, but also hold B or A. Maybe it'll slow fall to the next tile if the coins turn to blocks. This stage is mostly you fighting the screen scroll in my opinion. As soon as you know what's coming up, it's fairly straightforward if you keep moving. The second P-switch is much more forgiving than the first, and if you make it to the top thwomp, I'd say you're already golden. Time to beat for recording, 1 minute 37 seconds. Difficulty C. Fun B. Level 7, Color Code Cove. I've never liked jumping from falling platforms past a muncher and onto another falling platform. Thankfully, this stage only does it a few times. The spin jump coin right after the checkpoint is required for you to do the smallest jump over the muncher, but then also catch up to it again before doing a momentum loop around jump to the checkpoint. I hope that made sense. The next jump looks super jank, but honestly, as long as you don't side bonk the one stone block, you'll probably make it. After a shell jump, a throw and bounce, and some more falling platform jumps under munchers, you'll be forced to do a left shell jump and using your height to go right into the goal. The left shell jump seems the most daunting of all of this, but honestly, it's set up pretty easily, and more often than not, you'll make it as long as you're not too far to the right. Time for beat for the recording, 2 minutes 58 seconds. Difficulty C. Fun B. Level 8, Chuck City. This level is all chucks and no filler. The initial run jump off the first chuck can catch a new player off guard, but it's actually less jank than it looks. Missing it, however, is a bad time, as you might as well just die and restart. The next clapping chunk makes it seem like you have to time his clap to the moving platform coming up, but you can just keep hopping on them until he gets there. After one more jumping chuck, you'll hit the checkpoint. The second half has you riding a chuck across munchers into a barrage of baseballs. Be careful though, because right after the charging chuck, you'll need to beat the gap to use him to jump up. Make sure you get ready to jump off the same chuck mid-air as he charges to his death. A final chuck gate will literally gates you from the goal, and that's it. That's the whole stage. Time to beat for the recording, 2 minutes 57 seconds. Difficulty C+. Fun B+. Level 9, Inferno. Race against Layer 2 with on-offs throughout the level. The bat jump at the start will teach you about tight regrabs really quick, following 2 different P-speed runs to the on-off switch before you get munched. Grabbing the shell while keeping P-speed is the trickiest part of the first half, but also keeping in mind of the amount of control jumps you need to do while the yellow stone is falling. For some reason, I had no trouble at the throw and bounce on this one, maybe because I had P-speed to make up for me holding Y. After the checkpoint is a pretty gross jump under a lip and into a tunnel. You'll need the P-speed though to get through to hit the on-off to save yourself, and then quick shell jump up. A blarg is waiting for you to spin jump off it before hitting another on-off again, with a sort of janky platform that requires you to keep its momentum before it disappears. A staircase of Kaizo blocks takes you to the top for you to hit the goal for good. The second half of this level feels more balanced than the first, requiring less precision other than that first jump. Time to beat for the recording, 6 minutes 20 seconds. Difficulty C+. Fun B. Level 10, Yellow Dwarf. Fast, frantic, time-moving platform level. Ultra Star-ish. Not too bad other than the precision jumps and using the Rexes to make up for time waiting for the platforms to catch up. After the halfway point, you are forced into trust jumps onto dead platforms, and I think as long as you think you'll make it every time. I think the jankiest part of the level is if you jump too early at the last Rex, you might not have enough time for the platform to catch up, so it can be overly precise just by a little bit. The shell jump anti-troll is great too at the end. Time to beat for the recording, 55 seconds. Difficulty, C-. Fun, B+. Level 11, everything is fine. I swear I did this beginning part for hours. Time the on-off hits with the shell going over the tiles is really more of a trust exercise than an accuracy one. I say don't worry about thinking if you'll make the shell and just mash the jump button because it'll probably line up. The shell jump got me for a while too, as did the troll you would never see coming because of how that kicking Koopaling spawns. The throw fall that happens after is just throwing a little bit earlier than you'd think, and then that's the checkpoint. The second half is an active saw ride, almost as if it's preparing you for the next stage, while juggling and throwing a shell to keep the saw path going. Once you have the pattern of hops and throws, it can be pretty easy to replicate. I think the hardest part for me while not throwing the shell to left and right, but also just a little bit so the shell had some horizontal momentum so I could catch it and keep surfing the saw. After ditching the saw, you need to spin jump off the now mostly stationary saw onto some Bowser fires, hitting the on-off switch off the first bounce. Remember the very start of the stage where you didn't have to time your on-off presses for the shell to pass? Well, now you have to do the same thing but for a very slow moving mushroom. It's funny that in this footage, I actually had to do this 3 times since I accidentally hit it one too many times, but thankfully this was the run I beat the stage with. Time to beat the recording, 1 minute 50 seconds. Difficulty, B+. Fun, B+. Level 12, Sawfring Castle. Oh boy, I spent hours on this stage, easily the most in the whole hack in the first try. This level is allegedly notorious for the difficulty spike, and I totally agree. Surfing a saw, or sawfring, is bad enough, but the way you have to catch up to it near the end is extremely tight. Combined with having to do a spin throw to the right, which is already input jank, is a bad time. Here are my strats. Try and aim for 3 or 4 short hops on the saw for the first 2 obstacles, with the last of those hops being your big jump off the saw to grab the throw block or to ride the spinning mace. Be sure to grab the shell from under the mace or you'll poof it out of existence if you land on it. And honestly, if you do poof it, I would still run the rest of the level just to get the muscle memory in for what you have to do next. Once you have the shell, do the same 3 or 4 hop strat until you get to the Bowser fire and do your big jump and kick the shell immediately on the first fire hop and do a big hop off the second fire. A big issue that can come up is the spinning block that you need to hit the shell won't spawn until it's on screen and the whole one will be dead right then. Confirm that it's spinning and grab the green shell for an easy shell jump into falling platforms. The hardest part, I think, is you'll have to spin jump under a muncher, back onto the same saw for one big jump onto another saw above you. Let me tell you, at this point your heart is racing and you're foaming at the mouth if you get this jump. The rest of the level is basically free. Jump over a spike, onto a thwimp, and then you hit the orb. I swear to God, you'll feel like a god after doing this level for the first time. Time to beat for the recording, 9 minutes 52 seconds. Difficulty A. Fun, B-. Level 13, Barb's Ship Hole. This ghost house dedicated to Barb starts with you falling onto flying Koopas under a spike with some not super precise controlled jumps. The first jump is almost free if you hold B coming into the level. Watch your momentum though as you run straight into a pokey. For the next section, I would hit a block, spin jump over to the left and hope that that pokey falls to the right, respawn that platform by jumping to the left, and then hit as many of those blocks as you feel comfortable. Next you'll have to poof jump down 5 bullet bills as you slowly descend avoiding spikes. Keep your P speed though, because you'll have to avoid bullet bills coming in the opposite direction. After the checkpoint, you'll grab a shell and walk through the wall, throw it left and keep up with it while jumping and avoiding obstacles. This isn't too bad once you get the initial jump, but what the trickier part is catching it in the water so you have the same shell to shell jump out. After some easy jumps and spin to the goal. Also there's a legitimate Kaizo block on the last jump. Hello there! Time to beat for the recording, 6 minutes 40 seconds. Difficulty A-. Fun, B+. Level 14, Rainbow Road. Before this level I knew very little about Yoshi tech. By tech I mean when to jump off him, riding an invisible Yoshi, how far below the screen you can jump off a Yoshi, etc. For the first jump you have to eat a red shell, kill some Goombas with it, but then also be right enough so Yoshi has some horizontal speed before you jump off of him, only to get back on him immediately to jump onto another Yoshi. This takes a lot of practice and requires a bit of trust falling when that second Yoshi spawns because your first Yoshi sprite will then just disappear. Fun! Once making it to the second Yoshi, you'll do some easy bullet bill jumps and then off again onto a disco shell. My count is 3 big jumps will give you the timing to land back on Yoshi as to lightly surfing below you. The coin indicator is pretty much exactly where you need to catch the Yoshi again. To have the momentum, you need to go under and grab the checkpoint. Honestly, this first half of the level took me way too long. Just so many things have to line up, and if you aren't good at momentum, you will be after this. You thought you were done dealing with disco shells, right? Wrong. This mid-air jump you need to do gave me a lot of deaths, but made me appreciate how you can work with the shell momentum. It also made me appreciate Fishing Boo, but that might be a future video. After poofing it, you'll have to grab a yellow shell and stomp near Goomba twice to make it bounce high enough that you can also then bounce on it over top with the Yoshi. It's actually easier to do than saying it after you some practice. The rest of the level is precise but pretty much free. Just remember to get P speed before you throw the last throw block. Time to beat for the recording, 12 minutes 20 seconds. Difficulty A. Fun, B+. Level 15, White Moth Lair. At this point, we're pretty comfortable with spin jumping most of the hacks, so this level isn't too bad. The stylistic choice of making everything except Mario silhouettes and the VVVVV music makes it feel fresh and exciting as the last stage of the hack. I feel that the way you have to cancel your momentum onto some fish bones and have to gain it back over some spikes is the trickiest part of the first half. Thankfully, the game lets you preview the jump before the checkpoint, which is very similar to the Color Code Cove / Inferno just with some spikes. Easy peasy. Re-grabbing down the Magic Koopa Magic ladder will test your skills and reaction time for re-grab, but again, with some practice and patience, it's totally doable with the rest of the level and boss being basically free. Just stay in one place so the smaller boos can't advance on you, but then pick up a block and throw it into Big Boo 3 times. That's it. Done. Time to beat for the recording, 7 minutes 27 seconds. Difficulty B+. Fun, B+. Okay, so, would I recommend this hack to a new player? Yes and no, I guess. I think this is a good hack if you've mastered the vanilla game enough and you want to learn some jank. Good jank, and weird jank. Some of the precision you need is a little beyond vanilla, but if you have enough patience, it's very doable in a few hours. I think Quickie World 2, the sequel, is a bit easier, and I'll get to that, but you won't really appreciate it unless you play Quickie World 1. So I give this hack a solid 8 out of 10. It's very solid and balanced, but Sovereign Castle plus a few weird setups made the balance wonky sometimes. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you want to see more of things like this. Goodbye!